What is up, everybody? It is Alex the Boogeyman here, and we've got Father's Day coming up, so I think maybe it's time for a special edition of Midweek Malarkey. Yes, Midweek Malarkey. And just like I sit and watch a lot of boxing videos online, sometimes some really bad boxing I see also see a lot of bad self-defense techniques as well. Now, self-defense, Krav Maga specifically, is my background. So this stuff really angers up the blood. Not just because I'm an old man, but because bad boxing, yeah, maybe you can get away with it, but bad self-defense could literally cost you your life. So this stuff is important. In my view, it is important that any self-defense technique you learn be effective in a wide range of scenarios against opponents who are aggressive, potentially bigger and stronger than you, or maybe you have to do them at a deficit. Also, the technique should be relatively simple to learn. It can't be a lot of steps that take a long time to learn, not just because it takes a lot of your time, but also because in the heat of battle, we tend to freak out and freeze up, right? So the more steps you got to remember, the harder that's going to be. And then number 3, most importantly, self-defense is not fighting. So whatever technique you learn should be designed to get you out of danger, get you to safety as quickly as possible with limited damage to you and really even the attacker. So the big problems I see, not just with self-defense techniques online, but stuff I've read, stuff I've been taught, stuff that's taught in dojos all around, is that a lot of times this stuff is very hard to pull off in a realistic environment against an opponent who is not complying with you. It could be something like, for instance, using your brute strength, anything where you have to pick up or move my opponent, right? That might work in some cases if you're bigger and stronger, but there's always someone bigger and stronger than you. So I would never want to rely on that in a situation. Or it could be something like, this is one I always hate, is like a throat punch, right? Punching a throat, oh man, it sucks. If you hit someone in the throat, very debilitating. Great self-defense, right? Except the only problem is it's very hard to do that against somebody who's trying to hurt you. Most people tend to tuck their chin and you might miss. And if you miss, then what? Then you'd haven't thrown a very powerful strike and you're in trouble. Another one, just like the throat punch, could be small joint manipulation. Anything where you've got someone's wrist and you're turning it in a certain way. Like that stuff can work, yes, but you can't always rely on it, especially if somebody is wiggling around doing something you don't expect. And when people train, oftentimes the person is just being totally compliant. The training partner is for that kind of technique. And then number 2, just like small joint manipulation and throat punches can be effective, but these things take a lot of skill to learn. Judo throws is a big example. I used to see that on TV all the time. I thought, oh, judo throws are easy. One day I tried to do them. They're very hard. They're very difficult to do. They look easy. They're not. And really getting those mechanics down takes a lot of training. So if you're going to do all that training, great. But again, remember, in a situation, in a scenario, in real life, if it takes a lot of precision and I have to get my hands in the exact spot, it might be hard to do against an aggressive opponent. Anything really with submission chokes and that stuff, I know that stuff's very popular now and I've done jiu-jitsu, like it a lot, but it can be hard. There's some opponents who have really thick necks, or it's hard to do an arm bar on them, and you could be in different clothes, you could be in a different environment on a street, it might be not flat ground, it might be rocky ground, you might be against the wall. There's all kinds of what ifs, right? And we want to eliminate that stuff as much as possible. And then number 3, the big thing I see is putting the defender at an unnecessary risk. So this would be like, for instance, doing a technique to escape something and then taking my opponent to the ground. You don't want to go to the ground with your opponent. Even your jiu-jitsu black belt, just get away. If you can get them to the ground, get up. Don't go down with them. That's just an example, but there's a lot of stuff against weapons where it's like you're putting yourself at this risk that you don't need to, and you want to minimize the risk, especially when the results could be deadly. Now you may be sitting there thinking, all right, old man, you're so smart, what are the right ways to do it? What are the right techniques? Well, it is something I'm thinking about. I want to do a self-defense class here at Title Boxing Club because, again, it's something I like doing, done for a long time, and I think everybody should learn the right way. So what I'm hoping is you can tell me, you can muse a little bit about some days and times that might work. I might have to take an existing boxing class and turn it into self-defense if a lot of people want to do it. So let me know in the comments or in person or by carrier pigeon. And this has been Midweek Malarkey. Oh yeah, and one more thing. If you're interested in self-defense, you should take kickboxing classes here at Title Boxing Club because we do a lot of stuff like front kicks, right? Like elbows, knees, close range stuff that would be very effective in a real life situation. So check it out. Midweek Malarkey.